Greetings, petrolheads. Welcome back to Automation, the car company tycoon game. I think it is time, now that we are advancing to 1992, to build an entry-level sports car. Because right now, like, basically every model that we have is pretty damn quick for the time, for the, late 80s, early 90s era. Yeah. So what we should do is build something small, something maybe a little bit more affordable, something a little bit more eco-focused, something small and light, but that's more affordable, but also enjoyable. So is this? Hold on. There's two versions of this body that look identical, but one is front engine and one is mid engine. So hold on. Where is this body now? There it is. Okay, so it was actually the other one because you saw it change slightly here. Well, I am gonna make a roadster of this as well. And I think what we do is we use a smaller version of the inline-4 block, something along the lines of like 1.8 liter, and we make it naturally aspirated, just like a Miata, basically. You get the idea now. Because realizing just how popular the Miata is becoming, we want a piece of that cake too. So yeah. That is basically the background there. We are going to use... let's see. Let's see how much more expensive this is. Production units are average compared to low. Material costs are average compared to very low. These kind of things are not saying very much. I need numbers to comprehend what they're actually meaning, So let's go with corrosion resistant steel for now, and once the car is actually finished, we can come back here and see how much cheaper it would be with just regular steel. Also, let's see, corrosion resistant steel versus fiberglass. Production units are very high on the fiberglass. So that's definitely quite a lot and more expensive. Weight, however, is going to be low compared to very high. So that is something we should keep in mind. However, since this... hold on. Fiberglass is limited production only. Oh, so we can't actually make... If we're gonna compete with the Miata and sell many of these things, we can't go with fiberglass. Now I wanna give this thing relatively narrow tires because it's gonna have not very much power anyway, and I wanna make this thing fun to drive and also easily, shall we say, driftable, if that's even a word. If it isn't, I just made it up. Okay, deal with it. So in any case, hide the fact that this is a Miata by going like big on this grill. Should we give it pop-up headlights? I think actually no, for this one I'm not gonna use pop-up headlights. I think I'm gonna go with a similar style as I did on the hatchback, even though it was seen as a little bit too futuristic maybe. Somebody pointed that out. I forgot who it was, I'm sorry. Can't remember all of the names. No, that doesn't even suit it. Well, if we go for like a larger grill, we'll put it a little bit further down as well. And then go for like one of these right here. It doesn't look like super impressive. Then again, this is also an entry-level sports car, so don't forget that. We're gonna put this on the bonnet, or are we gonna put it into the grille? I think it actually looks better on the bonnet, because otherwise the bonnet is like really empty. In order to emphasize the sporty, you know, I don't want to say the sporty ambitions of this car, the sporty style, the sporty spirit of the car, if you will. Like it's gonna be hopefully reasonably cheap, but also, yeah, like a Miata, an affordable sports car basically. Keeping up with the traditions though. Grill down here, where we're also gonna have like, you know, some fog lights down here. Excuse me. And a number plate, of course. And now we go for some side indicators. Obviously someone is gonna wanna drive this car, so we need door handles for that one person. Must be a madman. To buy a car like this, that isn't a Miata. He must be mad, right? Am I right? What? Why are the edges so... Well, okay, in that case... In that case, what we do is probably some big old red taillights here. And some smaller white ones right there. It would still be kind of cool to connect these somewhat, and I have an idea with what I'm gonna do it. If I could find the grill, there it is. Also gonna give this thing a small lip on the rear. Two exhaust pipes. Yeah, a little bit smaller than that. We'll play it right here. And then I think some braking lights. Like right there. Do we need indicators separately, or would you just imagine them being part of these taillights? Yeah, I think they're just going to be part of it. Either the taillights or these white ones. Alright. So it is going to be a rear-wheel drive. It is probably going to be yellow. Like that. Why does the lip keep like not going all the way around? Stop doing that, please. So, good. Engine. We got a 1991. Yeah. So we are gonna clone this thing and advance in 1992, where we are also going to. Wait, can we now change this? Now 5 bars per cylinder apparently is an option for once. We're gonna go a little bit cheaper on the internals, because this thing is not gonna rev as well. First of all, it's also gonna be naturally aspirated. 6600 should definitely be high enough for this car. Well, we really want to make a little bit more power than this, though. $149. Let's go a little bit lower. This is a beautiful torque curve, by the way. I think I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna stick with like 140 horsepower. We get a little bit of valve float. That is actually not that bad. Still get it if we. Yeah, we would have to increase the cam profile by a little bit more than I'm comfortable with. So now let us go with a cast iron crank with some cast conrods, because we don't have very much torque anyway. But reducing reliability due to high RPMs. These ones are the same. I gotta go with them then. Actually, they're not that bad. They only add like 1 production unit. And I'm gonna go with long tubular headers. But now I need to find a way of making a torque earlier. So that means lowering this a little bit, I guess. And also lowering the cam profile some more. I mean, the peak torque is at 4800 RPM, but like the torque curve is flat from like here, from 3500 or so. Well, even before 3000 RPM, at like 2700 or so, it resets 150 and stays above that level until the red line. So it is a pretty flat torque curve, all things considered. Because VVT on all cams is more advanced and better, but also more expensive. Should I go with it? I mean, the material cost difference is not very high. Neither is the difference in production units. Is only 1 more hour. Yeah, let's go with it, because why not? Now we get 2 more horsepower out of this, which means we could maybe lower this some more. Yeah, we can, but come on. Yes, good. We're making peak torque before 4000 RPM. Throttle response is 40.5, which is not that good for a naturally aspirated engine. It has to do with the pretty low ignition timing here. But at the same time, we want to keep this relatively low because we want to make peak torque run. Oh, also the exhaust is way too big still. So yeah, okay. 90. Okay, we want to keep it here. So now 171 Newton meters. That is, let me see. Excuse me. Where did I have that? Okay, 171 Newton meters. That is 126 pound-feet of torque. So that is what we're going to be powering this little car with. Obviously a 5-speed manual, because I don't think there's any other real option. Now here's the question: if you want to make this car fun and able to drift, then we need a differential. But a differential is gonna make this car more expensive. It's also not gonna go very quickly. This is not much more expensive than an open differential, the viscous LSD. The manual locker is just awful to drive in everyday conditions, and I guess, you know, these budget cars are oftentimes driven in everyday conditions, so you gotta think about that. Let's fit it with like 205s all around for now, and then see what that does, and we can change things up later. I'm gonna only go with steel rims because this is a budget car, sort of. Vented discs up front, I guess, and then solid discs on the rear. I don't think we're gonna fit another tray on this thing. Also, the wing angle is gonna be like... The lips are purely for show, not gonna be functional. Yeah, the cooling is gonna be slightly higher to increase reliability. 2 seats only. Pretty basic interior. Engineering time extremely low, and it's in deep red. Is that a bad thing that it's easy to engineer? Only a basic cassette. No driver assists. And only standard safety. We're gonna fit some standard springs, some gas monochip dampers, and some passive sway bars, and then we're gonna tune this suspension a little bit. Yeah, leave it here for now, and then yeah, okay. Now this thing is quite significantly cheaper to produce than the other cars we've been making thus far. However, drivability and sportiness, while they are pretty close together, they're both relatively low. For what I'd like to see, at least. Okay, that's bad now. We don't get brake fade, which is a good thing. Okay, that was really bad for for drivability, increasing the pad type, but it did get rid of the brake fade. It's weird that, you know, in this case it's a sort of question of, you know, brake fade versus brake balance on the drivability side. Because if we go for bigger brakes on the rear, then that's gonna upset the brake balance. However, if we go for a lower size, we're gonna make more brake fade. Let me think about this. How could we solve this? 3 pistons? Oh, it's gonna make the brake fade worse. 1 piston only? Oh, that's so good. Yeah, and there we only lost 0.1 drivability anyway. The weight is still fine at 969 kilograms. Like it's not heavy. And we did save a lot of money, admittedly, by, you know, fitting a pretty cheap interior. That's what I was getting at. The acceleration is not bad, 7.7 seconds from 0 to 100. For an entry-level sports car, for an entry-level, well, I guess you could say sports car in that day and age, because the Miata, even though it's not super powerful, the Miata was still considered a sports car back then, I guess. Just like the MR2 and stuff, like, yeah. Okay, let's see what this does around the track. It does reach 200 kilometers an hour. Probably even a little bit more, because the cooling was way higher than required. Drag time is 133.3, that's, or 133.4. It's actually not awful. It's really not bad. Top speed is gonna be higher. So what we do, of course, is yep, okay. We're back to 7.7 seconds. Drivability is, I think, now a little bit lower. I think it was at 33.1 first. That's okay. What if we go for even narrower tires? That brings us up to 33.6 drivability. Wheel speed didn't increase very much. 0 to 100 is still the same. And why did I reduce tire width? Because we're looking at running costs, man. And 195s are cheaper to replace than 205s. And so that is gonna... Yeah, running costs are below $2,000, and that's today's money. So yeah, markets $13,000, also today's money. That's quite good. So with that being said, economy is not great, but also not awful. I mean, I guess in 1992 you could, like, for 140 horsepower, 9.4 liters wasn't that bad. This is pretty much around where the BMW 320i was, then the E36, and that made 150 horsepower. Yeah, okay, that's a little bit more power, but it's a BMW and it's more high tech and yada yada yada. It's more expensive, but overall, it's kind of similar, and that's what counts. And it's faster from 0 to 100, because I mean, yeah, manufacturers claim of that 320i was 9.9 seconds. I've owned one, and I can tell you it'll do it in pretty much 9 seconds flat. However, that's still not even close to this thing. So, how do we call this? For now, I'm not gonna call this the 1992 ESE. This is just a placeholder. I'm gonna leave the name up to you guys. Entry level, because now the entire name will make sense. 1992 ESE entry level coupe and entry level roadster is coming up. Or coupe, I should call the other one. So. Yes. Is there anything we need to change now? Whoa! Drivability is quite a bit better now. Also, we gained over 200 kilograms, no, almost 200 kilograms of weight. Yeah, okay. I mean, it makes sense because it's made of steel. It's not made from carbon fiber, so it does need extra reinforcing. And added weight means just less wheel spin, I would assume. Yeah, 0.7% now. However, it also means way worse acceleration. And we should fix that by doing this. And it's not on par with the coupe, but it is better. We do have bottoming out. And the spring stiffness did fix that for us. There we go. I think I should check that on the coupe as well, if we do have bottoming out, and if necessary, change the spring rate. Right. .8 liter and a 140 horsepower. Very creative name, I know, but you know, the names on the engine variants don't really matter to me very much. Excuse me? Oh yeah, this is where I need to open a drop-down menu. We don't have bottoming out on this one. I'm gonna change the spring stiffness nonetheless, just to be, you know, just to have same spring stiffness on both cars. Let's see how does this perform even. Track budget, it's at 85.2. Sportiness is a little low. I mean, that's sort of the deal with this, isn't it? Like, for extra sportiness, you would either need more power, or you would need like better suspension or less weight, which you also get with like more expensive materials. What I'm getting at is either you're gonna sacrifice drivability by giving this thing quite a bit more power, or you're gonna be making it more expensive. And despite the pretty low price, it's only at 38.3% affordability anyway. That's kind of crazy. Anyway, If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like or a comment. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time.